Big shout out to Tommy V in Michigan. He was on fire this morning.
Okay, thank you, Tommy V in Michigan. Yes, sir. If you share my prayers.
Tommy V's on. Yeah, we'll jump over there. How about that?
There we got sound. What is your name, please?
Robert Stokes.
Okay, this is 24R02002. You were cited back on the 15th of March at about 8:52 in the evening in the area of Royal Oak near 12 Mile and Cody. Instead of being cited for speeding, which would have been a 4-point ticket, you were issued a ticket for impeding, which does not carry points. Are you here to accept or to reject the break that the officer gave you on the street?
Reject.
Mr. Stokes, I need to make sure that you understand that in the event there's a hearing, and if the proofs disclose that you weren't impeding traffic, but that you were speeding, then the ticket will be amended or can be amended to reflect what happened to conform to the proofs. So you could theoretically, I wasn't there, I don't know what happened, you were and you do. So if there's a hearing and it shows you weren't impeding, but it shows you were speeding, the ticket can be changed to speeding, that would carry points. Do you still want the hearing?
Yes.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give in this matter will be the truth?
Yes.
The officer will testify first.
All right, Your Honor, at this date and time, I was stationary on 12 Mile near Cody, parked on the right side of the road facing west. I observed a vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed to the rear of me, traveling eastbound on 12 Mile. I'm sorry, westbound on 12 Mile. I was facing westbound. I estimated the speed of the vehicle to be approximately 50 miles an hour in a 35. I activated my rear radar and confirmed the speed to be 52 miles an hour in a 35 mile an hour zone. I pulled out behind the vehicle, conducted a traffic stop, made contact with the driver, identified it as Mr. Stokes, explained the speed to him. He stated he was not speeding and that he knew I would be sitting there and that there was another officer around the corner, so he knew not to be speeding, but he was the only vehicle coming westbound at that time. And he was issued a citation for impeding traffic.
Did you find to operate radar?
Yes.
And did you have occasion to put that radar device through any testing that day?
I did. I believe I checked it at the beginning of my shift on the traffic stop. Or I know I just checked it on the beginning of my shift. I believe I checked it during the traffic stop and at the end of my shift.
Mr. Stokes, it's your turn, sir.
Okay, so upon meeting with the officer, I had to come to a complete stop at a left-hand turn. The light had just turned.
So what happened after you were stopped is not relevant to the charge. You, of course, had to be stopped to get a ticket.
No, what I'm saying is before
meeting the officer, you stopped.
No, before I even got to the officer, he's saying that there was an impeding traffic and speeding. Before even getting to the officer, there was another officer that drove by me first, and I had to get into a left-hand lane and come to a complete stop. That's the first thing. Second thing, the vehicle cannot even go past 25 miles per hour. You cannot speed in this car. Second thing, when I did make the left-hand turn, that's when I saw the officer and I moved over to make sure that there wasn't nobody in front of the car. Once I moved over, that's when he pulled me over. He originally said it was for impeding traffic, in which there was no traffic behind me. It was only me and him on that street. So there wasn't no impeding traffic. Then upon stopping, that's when he said that. And I explained to him, like, hey, this car, one, can't go fast enough for you to even say it's speeding. If you mash on the gas, the car is not going anywhere. It has high RPMs. So the car, once I told him that, that's when it went from speeding to impeding traffic. But again, there was no traffic to impede. One, when I seen the cop, like I said, I was in a left-hand lane making a left-hand turn, and I turned into the right-hand lane on the street. Once I seen the cop, I moved over to the left-hand lane, in which time I kind of slowed down to make sure there wasn't no cars in front of him.
What street did you turn onto?
I don't remember the name of the street. I want to say it was turning onto, that was 13 Mile, I would say. So it was 13 Mile, and I cannot think of the other street, but I had to come to a complete stop before I even got to the officer.
You got the ticket
So
on 12 Mile Road.
that's not where this happened, honestly. I'm looking at the ticket right now. And like I said, when the officer pulled me over and said I was speeding, and I told him about the situation with my car, the car cannot speed, literally. It could not speed. Literally, the car right now, pretty much the transmission was going out. So even if I was to try and go above a certain speed, it wouldn't go. Now, let's see, on the ticket, it's saying, no, that's that ticket, Royal Oak. Yeah, impeding traffic. Like I said, when I originally pulled over to make sure I wasn't in view of him or wasn't, I can't see in front of the car. Where he was parked at was on like the side of the, so there's a street and there was like a driveway in which he could have parked in. So once I seen that he was in there, I kind of slowed down to make sure that there was no cars in front of him. I don't know if he was on a traffic stop. I don't know.
You were only going
And then
25
on
miles
top
an
of
hour.
that,
Why would you need to worry if there was cars in front of the officer?
if what? I couldn't hear the question, sir.
If you were only going 25 miles an hour, why would it matter if there were cars in front of the officer?
Because anytime that there's an officer that is involved in a traffic stop, you are supposed to get to the far lane to make sure that it doesn't cause a future accident. What if I had been driving by and the officer decided to get out the car at the same time that I had been driving by? You're supposed to get into the far left-hand lane whenever there is a traffic stop. It's the same thing with emergency vehicles, any vehicle. If you see if you're driving down the street and a cop turns his lights on, you automatically move out their way. It's the same thing with seeing a cop on the side of the road.
It's okay to slow down too.
Well, the car couldn't go. I had to come to a complete stop before I even got to him. So the car, even if I was to drive past him, the maximum I could have been going was 20 to 25. There's no way I could have been speeding down past him. It's physically impossible. The car cannot accelerate that fast. And it can only accelerate once it hits a certain miles per hour. And
Right.
then on top of that, that's not the officer that pulled me over.
Who did pull you over? Mr. Stokes, who pulled you over?
No, I'm not saying that's not the cop. A cop did pull me over, but I'm pretty sure he looked a little bit different. I could be mistaken, but that's not the cop that I remember seeing pulling me over. Because I remember when he pulled me over, like I said, I had to get around him. I'm just going off of what I'm seeing. I could be wrong.
Just going off what you're saying. You know, you said you were on 13 Mile Road.
13-mile road. So the direction in which I was coming from, I'm not familiar what the street is, but there is a speedway on the corner. There is a bus depot over there. It's 13-mile going towards 75. But when I had made the left-hand turn, like I said, I had to come to a complete stop. When I was driving up towards 13-mile, a cop came in front of me. Like he either, I think he was in the opposite lane and actually passed me. So I had to slow down to get into the left-hand lane and come to a complete stop.
Mr. Stokes, does 13-mile road intersect with Cody?
I'm not sure. I'm not too familiar with the area.
I asked the officer that question.
No, Your Honor. Cody Street is a very short street, and it's off of 12 Mile. It's about a half mile in between Campbell and Rochester. And I believe the intersection he's talking about, because what he told me on the stop was that he was turning from Campbell to 12 Mile. So there's a half mile stretch there.
It could have been 12 or 13, but I'm pretty sure it was 13 mile. I could be mistaken.
Cody doesn't intersect with 13 mile. It does intersect with 12 mile. And your recollection of the events doesn't appear to coincide with the facts that have been testified so far, because the ticket itself says that you were speeding 52 and a 35. It was rear stationary radar on westbound 12 mile. You've testified that you had to stop because you got passed by an officer. You testified that you stopped to make a left turn, but there was no turn made at Cody when your speed was measured. The speed was measured before you were stopped. The officer didn't stop you and then go back to see what your speed was. He measured.
There was two officers.
And yet, you know, I've tried not to interrupt you, and I would appreciate this.
Oh, I'm sorry.
You were stopped after your speed was measured. Your speed was measured by an officer who's certified to operate radar, who tested the unit before and after his shift, as well as during the shift. Your speed was measured at 52 and a 35. That's 17 miles an hour faster than the speed limit. You've testified that your motor vehicle, Lincoln Continental Silver, 2001, can't go over 25 miles an hour. That does not seem likely to me at all. But I do think the facts disclose that at the point your vehicle speed was measured, it was moving at the rate of 52 miles an hour. Ticket is amended to speeding.
Can I say something?
Go ahead.
Again, I'm trying to figure out something. Like I said, the car could not go 252 miles per hour at the intersection. I couldn't speed past this officer. It would be physically impossible for the car to do that.
I have indicated I find that to be less than credible.
I can't hear you. Less than what?
Credible.
How? The car literally, if you were to try and drive it, it wouldn't speed. The car can't speed. The car would go from 0 to 20. Then I guess the trans would slip. And then from 20 to 40, you'd have to build up the speed. You couldn't just step on the gas the regular way. The car wouldn't go past it.
So you can't build up the speed faster than 20.
Once the car goes from 0 to 20, the RPMs, the RPMs rev, the car wouldn't go forward. So you would have to decrease the speed in order to build up the speed for the car to even go that fast. So the car couldn't go.
To get the car up to 40 miles an hour, you have to slow down.
Yes, like the car. Okay, so the RPMs on it.
Mr. Stokes, the ticket has been amended to speeding 35 and a 52. You've been found responsible for that. The fine is $200. It needs to be paid. You can pay it online, you can mail in a check or money order, or you can drop by the courthouse and pay it at the counter. The hearing is over. Thank you.
Do I get an extension to pay it off?
What do you mean extension?
I don't have $200 right now to pay a ticket off. That's what I'm saying. The car was not able. The car was.
Do you need, sir?
At least a month. The car broke down.
2 weeks to pay. Usually takes 2 or 3 clicks to do. If I close it on them, it's reset. It's 1 minute. Okay. While we're waiting for her to get here, what address is she currently at?
Your Honor, she probably might require some patience. She just got a new trespassing at a shelter in Pontiac. However, she said she lives in Pontiac, but did not give me an address.
We've got 3 different addresses for her. And last arraigned her on these 3 cases on the 6th of March. We got an address on Spokane and Pontiac. She should be here within seconds. These 3 files bear the captions 230230, 240061, 23022318. All of them people versus Carmen and Michelle Clark.
Marcia Kosmatka appearing on behalf of the defendant.
You and she consenting to conducting these arraignments on the Zoom platform?
Yes, Your Honor, we are, and I would first ask that the bench warrants be set aside.
Brings us with the issue of bond.
Yes, Your Honor, just for the record, she was most likely already arraigned. However, we did go over maximum, minimum, and advice of rights. In regards to bond, she indicated that she came into custody, was brought in by an officer, she said about 5 hours ago, from I believe she said the Hope Shelter in Pontiac. She indicated that she didn't appear for this case because she couldn't get there. She is 42 years old. She collects SSI. She indicated that the disability is bipolar and schizophrenia. She indicates that she lives in Pontiac, although the address was not clear. And I'm asking the court to consider a personal bond with conditions.
Well, I arraigned her on these 3 cases on the 6th of March of this year. This is after she failed to appear multiple times in each one of these files. Pre-trial was set and she failed to appear at that. Now we changed the address on these 3 files at the arraignment in March to an address in Pontiac on Spokane. Ms. Clark, is there a better address than Spokane and Pontiac?
Yeah, West Tennyson.
The zip there?
48341.
These hearings that you missed were Zoom hearings. Didn't have to travel anywhere.
I wasn't aware that I had a Zoom hearing to be missed. To be honest with you.
So you're saying you didn't get notice of these 3 hearings?
Right, exactly.
The notice that was mailed by the court,
To where?
the court mailed you notice, and the notice was not returned by the United States Postal Service as being undeliverable.
Where was it delivered to though?
The address you gave us on Spokane.
Oh, well, that's why I didn't get it, because I don't live on Spokane anymore.
Well, if you're gonna move, you have to tell the court.
Oh, okay.
Tell the bench. We sent the pre-trials. Are you in jail on now?
What am I in jail on now? Trespassing or something around there.
Ms. Kosmeka, do you have other arraignments for her today?
I do not. This is the only thing that she has today, although as I indicated in the breakout room, when I asked how she came to be in custody, she said an officer brought her to the jail approximately 5 hours ago because she got a trespassing charge at the Hope Shelter in Pontiac.
What street is the Hope Shelter on? Sorry?
I believe it's on, I have no idea. I don't know.
Back on the 6th of March, put you on a personal bond on each one of these 3 cases. Result was you failed to appear at the next hearing. This is after multiple failures to appear.
Why? I don't understand if you get a personal kindness bond, how it's failure to appear if you don't show up. Why would you have to show up after you get a personal kindness bond?
Purpose of a bond is to let you to minimize as much as possible the restraints on your liberty prior to the hearings. But if you're on a personal bond, it doesn't mean you don't have to come back to court. It means, and you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Didn't know you had to come back to court.
No.
Got a hunch that maybe you got, in the last 15 years, you probably had some experiences where you had to reappear.
I haven't had many run-ins with the law in the last 15 years, Your Honor.
Record would reflect otherwise. The fact that you're here is only because you've been arrested and brought. See any basis to change the bond that was set by Judge Galkowski when he issued the warrant. Bond on each of these files will remain $2,500, cash, surety, or 10%.
And Your Honor, I don't know if we said that, although I'm sure that the court anticipated that she will need a court-appointed attorney.
That's what's provided at her arraignment. She did make such a request and it's going to happen. But court-appointed attorney can't do anything if she doesn't appear.
Me here now.
Yep. If there was a way to do the pre-trial now, it would be very fortuitous. Good luck.
Thank you, Your Honor. Have a good day.
Too.